And here we go. All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to tonight's one-shot. Gonna be, as usual, a very quick little stream. I say quick, I'm probably lying. We'll find out. But yeah, welcome to this channel. My name is Eric. I'm the photographer, writer, cinematographer, film director, and film editor. And yeah, welcome to what we're gonna do tonight. We are gonna be doing a single photo. That's how these one-shots work. We just take one photo and kind of edit it from start to finish. And we're going to be doing a shot from Great Falls Park tonight, which is cool little waterfall managed by the National Park Service on the Virginia-Maryland border. So in the photo you'll see we've got the Potomac River running through, and then on either side one side we've got Virginia, the other side we've got Maryland. So that'll be cool. As always, this is we do this to pull the curtain back on editing, on the post-processing process of photos and the artistic process there. Hello, Steffi. Welcome to the stream. And also, Maria Lisa is here. She has a hand. She is waving with it. Also, hello to Ash and Buttons and Evelyn and Mia too, I guess.
Are those the kittens?
Ash and Buttons are the kittens, yeah. So yeah, now we love them. Evelyn and Mia, your guys are pretty good too. But
if anyone wants kittens, they need a home.
yes, if anyone is looking for two absolutely adorable kittens, Ash and Buttons are available and just the cutest freaking things, so feel free to reach out to me about that. Anyway, yes, so this stream is done to pull back the curtain on post-production. And post-processing of photography. It is a topic that is either not talked about or talked about behind paywalls, and I kind of hate that. So I do this to kind of pull the curtain back as much as I can and share my process, which is, there's no such thing as the correct process. I share mine, and we get to kind of have a time of being creative and experimenting and being artistic together. So that's why we do this, and that's what we're here for. If throughout the process you have questions, you have comments, you have thoughts, you have terrifying chicken stories, whatever you want to share, please feel free to drop those in chat. If you are a photographer or a creative of any kind and want to share your work, please, here's your invitation. Share share whatever you like. This is as much as this is my platform, I want to share it and let it be yours as well. So yeah, with that said, we're gonna go ahead and jump into Lightroom for tonight's chosen photo, and it's this. This is Great Falls. Like I said, Potomac River running through the middle here, and then Maryland over on this side, and Virginia over here. Obviously a long exposure. This is 120 seconds, so a 2-minute exposure with a 10-stop ND filter on. Shot at f5 on a wide lens. That nicely still gets me pretty much everything in focus. My focus point was kind of in here, but it still pretty much gets me not tack sharp focus, but enough focus you can see what's going on, and the water is that beautiful kind of overly smooth flow to it. The sky as well. We're going to play with that tonight. So yeah, this is the photo we're going to be working on. I'm trying to think if there's anything else to say other than just let's go ahead and jump in. All right, let's see. First things first. Usually I'd start with the crop. I think I really do like the composition here. Like I don't have a whole lot of issue with with the way I compose this shot. I might want to bring this down and kind of, focus us in a little bit on the falls itself. It's a thing I could do. I'm not sure I want to though. I think for now I'm going to leave it just leave it as is, and as we edit, we'll go through there. All right, my usual start is the clarity slider to kind of see what happens if I crank up that. I like that. I like the ghostly quality of this. Okay, texture we're gonna use texture later. Dehaze.
I know what it looks like.
There we go, bringing some color into the. What do you say?
I know what it looks like.
What does it look like?
The river Styx.
It does have a bit of that ethereal quality to it. All right, we're going to dehaze the sky and the water, but nothing else necessarily needs it. Highlights are the water. We're probably going to bring those, water in the sky, we're going to bring those down and do that specifically. Shadows, we can bring those up. Talking about histograms, Really happy with the histogram on this one. This is nice. It's nice and even. The blue's peaking a little bit, but that's not too much of a problem. We don't have anything going, like nothing totally underexposed, nothing totally overexposed. So, yeah, really, really happy to see that. Our whites, same deal. We can bring up the whites. I don't think we need to. And then the blacks, we can bring up, but that'll just soften things. Okay, cool. Part of me wants to adjust this to like kind of more of what it actually looked like, but I'm also really enthused by just kind of the twilight blue of this. Well, I kind of want to lean into it a little bit more, but we'll come back to that as we go. All right, so first things first. Let me see what we can do. First thing I want to do is I want to try a luminance range. I want to see if I can get, that's pretty good. Okay, that's a good start. All right, let's get this as much as I can, get it off the water. Or actually, no, let's get it entirely on the rocks. Let's start with that. Yeah, let's keep the blacks there. Let's push this more toward the blacks. Let's widen up let's widen that up a bit.
Please tell me if this noise is distracting.
No, you're good. She's doing her nails back there, so they're getting all
I'm buffing them.
getting all buffed and filed. All right, so that's pretty good as a starting point. I'm gonna do some brush work with it. Okay, let's add with a brush. Bring my feathering up a little bit and get my density and everything up at 100%. And let's get in here. Let's get this stuff in here. Let's get all that. Here we go. Let's come down there. Gotta follow my own rules a little bit more here. All right, I'm gonna zoom in here. What's that look like if I turn the overlay off? Now that's actually pretty good in terms of getting. I want to get this whole area here. That's definitely worth getting all those rocks in there. This mask is going to be super useful as a base, so I want to make sure I get it. I want to make sure I take my time and kind of get this one together. Turns out this photo is going to be one of the ones we mask off first, and that's cool. All right, here we go. In this case, it's going to be important to be able to mask to control separate areas of this photo. So let's bring that down and kind of get out to the end of this little peninsula here. There we go, kind of get the edges there. Doing pretty well up here. Some of the stuff like up further up there, like this is kind of all rocks, but it's got the little bits of water peeking through, and I kind of want to leave that alone. I'm probably gonna grab the whole forest back there though. That I do pretty much do want to get. But like the rocks that kind of have the water sort of coming through them, even further up where it's almost all rock but little bits of water, I'm gonna leave those kind of incomplete because it does give us a nice it does kind of like it'll add more detail and more character and more texture to it when I do start adjusting. So I'm fine with that. Even if it's not totally exact, I'm happy with it. All right, let's see. This is all looking pretty good. How's that look over there? Do I want that to be... Yeah, I want this whole area. This should all be part of the mask. So far, I found luminance masks to be one of those that it's like, all right, it either works really well or it doesn't. And so I'm kind of... It's looking pretty good. Let's get a couple sections. We are gonna have to do a subtract mask in here at some point. To kind of get some of the darker water out of there, and that's fine. We're going to do that in a sec. Some of this. Let's get a little bit some of these rocks here. Let's get this guy, kind of get that nice and sharp. This one here as well. Cool. To start, let's come back up to these trees. I'm just going to go ahead and paint them in. Didn't have to be perfect, but I'm going to go ahead and do most of that. There we go. Let's get that whole area. Let's get this. Good. Cool, that's looking pretty good. Let's turn off the overlay for a sec. Yeah, that's looking pretty great. The only stuff I want to get rid of is, all right, so just a quick subtract mask with a brush. And we're going to get rid of, let's see, these spots right in here. That's all water, so that should not have a masking on it at all. And then, let's see, yeah, pretty much everything down here. Everything from here down to here, we're going to clear out. Because that's all water. We want that to just be yeah, to be in with its fellows. Cool. All right. I'm going to duplicate and invert, and that gets us pretty much everything else with little bits on the shore, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Let's do a duplicate of this mask. And with that one, I want to add the sky. Let's let it detect that, and it should get this whole area there. I might have to use the add brush to. Yep, I do. Use the add brush, sort of clean up that edge. Make sure I get all of that. Cool. There we go. So that's just the water. I'm gonna clean up some spots here. Good. Let's add to there. Very good. Zoom in to make sure I got all that. I do want that in there as well. Good. Okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and delete that one. I want to come back to this. Let's go back to here. Add brush. I missed these couple spots in here, and I want to make sure I get them. Actually, take it back. I don't want that. I want to let them be their own thing. Okay, so same deal. We're going to do a... Let's see. So this is... going to rename this as rock and trees. Going to rename this one as not water. We're going to do a duplicate and invert. So that is, and we're going to rename this as just water. Cool. All right, so that's what we'll start with. So first thing we want to do, where do we want to start with this? All right. I want to bring some color into the, that's the rock and trees. I want, let's see. Let's do a duplicate and invert on that one as well. And call this not rock. Which I guess the opposite of rock would be polka. Is that how that would work? All right, we're going to dehaze this because I want to get some color into the sky and into the water. We're going to do that. We're probably going to crank the saturation a little bit on them because they're going to give us those nice blues. I like that. That's a good start. Could bring up the texture. I think is a great idea, especially because I'm going to bring up the texture in different amounts and different things. Clarity, no, I want to leave the clarity a little bit, but not much. Yeah, bring up the texture in the water is a cool thing because this kind of shot it's a little bit noisy. I don't mind that too much. I'm going to denoise a bit, but bringing up that's better. Bringing up the texture of the water like this because it's a long exposure, and you get that water being completely silky smooth. Without the texture, it ends up, I don't know. I feel like it gives it more character to have to bring up the texture that way. All right, so here we go for this section. Now we're gonna bring up the texture of the rocks, the trees, all that stuff. Bring up the clarity on that as well, and that's gonna give us that nice shiny detail. So I'm gonna crank the clarity all the way up and let the texture sort of fade a little bit. I don't need to dehaze this much. I can bring up the shadows on it though, which will bring out, yeah. And I can also, I might push this a little more toward, I don't know. That might be a little bit much. I can push it more toward blue, which it does give it gives it that nice cast look to it. I kind of like that, but does it need it? You know what? Like this, it looks like silver, and I'm kind of happy with that. I'm actually really happy with that. I'm gonna bring the blacks down a bit because I want it to. Yeah, if I bring the blacks down a little bit, it gives me that. It keeps the darkness. It doesn't make it look washed out. It keeps the contrast while still being. Yeah, still giving that really nice. That looks luminous. I love that. I really, really do. Okay. I'm not sure there's anything I need to do with the water. I can bring up the saturation on it and really pump that. Actually, I do kind of like that. But I'm gonna do the color sliders first, and I'll come back to it. There's anything else I need to do with the water. I can bring the highlights up, but I do actually bringing the highlights down a bit in the water is nice because it gives you. If you bring them up. I don't know. It does make them a really nice subject. Let's bring the highlights up there. Let's do that. Shadows. Let's leave the shadows more or less where they are. Let's see the overlay there. Okay. Yeah, looking okay. Don't I've already played with the texture. I've already played with bring the blacks down, leave the blacks alone. Let's bring them down a little bit. I don't know. This photo's kind of vignetting itself already. I don't know if I vignette more, it's gonna bring those blacks down. Let's bring them down a little bit. I'm liking how that looks. I'm liking the color we're getting in the water there. This might actually be a photo where I get to play with aqua, which is always something I look forward to. And then not water, doesn't have anything on it yet, because it doesn't really need to. Like, remember the highlights in the sky, but it's not really. I'm kind of actually bringing those highlights down, giving the sky some character is pretty good, and it's not really affecting much of the rocks. So we can bring those down a little bit. There we go. Cool. All right, let's go back to our global adjustments. Also, a black and white version of this photo will look fucking nuts. So we're gonna I don't know if I'm gonna do that tonight, but that's certainly a thing that's going to happen. Both this photo and the black and white version will be available on my website and in my Etsy store. The black and white version will be a fine art print, because those are the ones that are just, I don't know, just like, yeah, it'll be a fine art one because that just looks so absolutely good. Especially once there's gonna be cropping that happens. I'm looking at this now and be like, yeah, there's gonna be cropping that's gonna happen. Okay. Let's come down here and play with this, and really, there's only like two colors that matter here, aquas and blues. Aquas are coming all the way up. I love what that's doing to the water. That's amazing. Blues are going to do the whole thing. So I could bring them down actually and get that kind of more realistic look. Maybe there's a version of this photo that does that. I believe the blues, honestly, pretty much where they are. Bring them down just a little bit. If I lean into them, leaning in keeps that water. The vibrance in the water on this photo is absolutely what I love about it. Like usually when you do a long exposure of the water, you just get that white streak that comes through, and like that's cool. But man, I love the color that this is pulling out. Yeah, that's just amazing. Brightness, I can bring up the brightness in the aquas. I can bring up the brightness in the blues. That's too much. Brightness in the aquas, I don't know if I need to. Actually bringing that down a bit. I'll leave it. I want to leave it where it is. I think actually let's bring it up a little bit. Let's bring it up a bit so this foreground pool gets a little bit lighter. All right, I think there's a little bit of purple or pink in the sky. Let's see. There it is. There's a little bit of purple there. Of course, doing this means I'm going to have to deal with a little bit of color fringing, but that's not too bad. Gives us that little pop back there, which I do like. Let's leave those both alone. In terms of brightness, reds, really nothing happening there. Reset, thank you. Oranges, even less happening. Yeah, none of these are going to be doing much. Green, I think is going to exist right in that one, not even that, very little in that little spot right there on that waterfall. I'm going to go ahead and I guess just leave that alone. Actually, I'm going to bring the greens down so I can blend a little more into aquas. Actually, I can leave the green where it is, and I can just push the green hue to aqua and let that kind of become part of the image, and that works. That'll help. Cool. All right, greens, I could darken them. Yeah, let's darken that down. Let's let it be. It's overdoing it. Let's leave it alone. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Yeah, color sliders, that looks pretty good. I'm actually very happy with that. Let's see. Let's adjust our crop. Looking at it now, I'm starting to understand this photo more, and I'm starting to know what I want it to look like. Gonna bring this in a little bit on the edge here, because this photo is very much about that central thing in the flow, leading our way out of it. We're gonna come up a little bit. See, I want to come in, but I don't want to lose that corner because that corner looks awesome. What if I really do crop this into kind of something like that? Move it down a bit, give it, because my eye, it's naturally kind of leading my eye down this way. Like it's didn't necessarily want to do that. That actually didn't look too bad. Huh, best accidents, right? I'm gonna lock this framing and just make this a little bit bigger. There we go. Yeah, just that, like the way that flows, like it's the the rocks and the like water, you want to follow your eye down to the bottom corner here. And I really like where that goes. I don't want to lose that as much as I can avoid it. But I really like the whole landscape here. So just kind of finding the balance. Reset this crop. I want to see if I can find I need to find a reason to start making some of these changes, because I'm really happy with this. Okay, let's go ahead and do this at 11 by 17, which is kind of a standard, and that'll lock in that aspect ratio, and then I can adjust. Something like that. Let's bring this down to here. Also, like I got the coastline kind of curving around the side of it. It kind of frames it nicely and gives it a good balance. I'm pretty happy with that. Let's see what that looks like. That's not bad. I like a little more sky. So let's bring this up a little bit. Something like that. That's not bad. Let's stick with that. That feels pretty good and dynamic to me. I'm pretty happy with that, how that's looking right now. I want to try something. I don't know if this is going to work. The one thing I don't like are these branches. These branches are not making me happy. I would like to get rid of them. I don't know if I can. Let's find out. Let's see if I can get this thing to erase them with the content aware brush. Let's try it like that and see what it gives me. It's going to try healing it first. Let's go ahead and do content aware. Yeah, that was going to be weird. Okay, undo that. Actually, just get rid of that. Yeah, that one's going to be a bit difficult. Let's try one of these. It's this whole sort of collection of sticks down here. Let's see if I can get it to get rid of some of those in a way that's pleasing to the eye. Not really. It is not a fan of getting rid of those. Oh, I can duplicate them. I can get more of them. Let's see. Nah, it's not. It doesn't want to give me that. So I'm gonna leave it as is. I'll let them kind of be part of it. Let them reach for it. Nothing wrong with that. Okay, that is looking really, really good. I'm actually really happy with how that looks. Let's leave that alone. That section of green is starting to sort of bug me. Just because I can see the edges. I'm not loving that. If I push the whole thing to blue, kind of comes out that way, but I'm not loving it. I'll let that sort of be its own thing. I'll let that do its thing. If I bring the green saturation down, yeah, that's fine. If I play with the green luminance, actually pushing that up is the way to go. Let's do that. That works. And then that's not really making a difference. So let's leave it alone. All right, cool. That is looking pretty awesome. Let's see if there's anything else I want to do with this in terms of just polishing it up. So we brighten up the water in a good way. You know what? I'm going to do a quick thing. I'm going to intersect this with a linear gradient. Let me see the overlay, guys. Let me see what I'm doing here. I want to flip this around. Good. Now we can turn that off. Actually, I might just flip this the wrong way. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm going to extend this just up to right about there, because I like what it's doing to the foreground. I don't love what it does to the bright highlights in the back, because there is detail there. And if I turn this off, it doesn't. Like here, yeah, with it on or with it off, you don't like it. You can see a little more detail in the water. When it's on, it's a lot brighter, and I'm kind of happy to not have as much of that. So we're gonna bring that down and kind of let it let it do the foreground more than the background, but it still looks fucking good. Not water is kind of affecting the sky. That's fine. The not rock one. That's giving us, that's our big one. That's doing all the dehazing. That looks phenomenal. And then here, yeah, that's giving us all the texture in the rocks, which looks amazing. I want to do a new mask that's just the sky. I feel like the sky is kind of the weak point here. I want to play with that. I'm going to push it a little more blue. Actually, not even more blue, a little more green. Yeah, I want to get it to sort of match up. That's better. That's much better. Highlights. I could bring it up a bit and kind of make it more of a... I kind of like that because the brightening that up, if I bring up the saturation on it, not that much. Just want to find the balance there. A little more green. There we go. A little less green. We overdid the green a bit there. Still overdid the green a little bit there. Let's come down to 18. There we go. That's better. Bring the blacks down. Of course, every time I adjust the light, I'm gonna have to adjust the color again, bit by bit, just to get it to balance out. There we go. Yeah, brightening that sky up a bit gives it helps. Our eyes are drawn to light and dark, so brightening up the sky will brings our eyes more to the center as well. Just kind of brings us to that central rock formation, which is great. Contrast, I'm going to leave alone. Texture. Bringing up the texture is bringing up a lot of that fringing and the noise. Let me denoise this completely and see if that makes a difference. And is it better to just not bring up the texture? I think it might be better to just not bring up the texture in this case. I like having a little texture in the sky. Same kind of thing as, like, you don't want to. I'm going to denoise that anyway. Same thing as, like, because the water's so smooth, you want to have the have some texture in it. But I think you can overdo it in the sky. Clarity is just drawing lines where I don't want them, so that can stay where it is. I've already dehazed it. I can dehaze it a little bit more, and that gives it a little more character. Let's do that. Let's do it that way. We'll crank the denoise all the way up. We'll actually bring the texture down. Not all the way, just a bit. And that gives us, there we go, gives us character in it with the dehazing while not giving us too much of a distraction back there. That's pretty good. All right, we're gonna do a little bit of cleanup here in a way that actually is gonna work. Let's go back to that, and let's just clean up some of these little spots. Little dots on the sensor or in the file. Let's see, I thought there was some stuff over here. I guess it's not enough of a thing. Actually, I take it back. I want to delete that one because I believe we're starting to see stars, and I want to keep that. Let's get rid of that one. Yeah, let's keep the little touches of stars in the sky. Those are pretty nice. Okay. Yeah. So I'm so on the fence about this patch of green. Let me try a color mask. Color range. Just get that green in there. Alright. Zoom this out and see. We got a lot of stuff in there that we don't want. I want to bring this down so it's just that little section, maybe a little bit wider. Like that. Good. Subtract brush. Subtract everything else. I'll make sure we're not getting anything in here. Just want it to be that one area. Cool. And now we can push the color on that to blue. Let's zoom in on it to fix it. It's not going to be perfect. Nope. I'm adjusting brush size. Why am I adjusting brush size? Put that back. We're adjusting color. Something like that. Push it a little bit away from green. Yeah. A little bit like that. I'm going to add with a brush and just touch up the center there. We're gonna make sure we get this whole area here. There we go. Come around, just sort of get, there we go, nice and gentle. Just get all that stuff there. Good. I'm gonna have to clean that up a little bit more even, but for starters, let's just get that. Where's my subtract brush? Actually, let's do another one. Subtract brush. Let's clean up these edges. Gone too far. Gone way too far there. That's because the brush just moved on its own. All right, undo those. Is that my color range adjustment? Let's see the overlay. Turn that off. It's actually looking pretty good. Up a little bit. Let's see. Add brushes helping, subtract brushes definitely helping. We got to keep that. That's clearing out everything else. Good, 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 good. Push it a little more toward blue. Push it a little more toward green. Where do we want it? There's the original. Let's go a little more. Just these little adjustments. Another subtract brush. Bring the feathering all the way up and bring the density down. I'm gonna clean up these little sections here. Yeah, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Top of it's a little bit of a thing. Let's take that off. There we go. Yeah, I can be very, very, very happy with that. All right, sweet. So yeah, with that, I think that's looking pretty good. I want to see. Yeah, the little bit like. So yeah, you got the little bit of light peeking through at the end of the day. We've got the beautiful texture in the rocks, making them look like they're made of silver. Absolutely love that. The beautiful color and the smoothness in the water as it kind of cascades down here. We've got our main pool here, which is just this nice bright white. Kind of our main flow here coming through. We got these branches in here, which I don't hate, but I'm actually kind of enjoying now. And yeah, there's our photo, and here's our before and after. So yeah, that's what we've got, guys. That was tonight's one shot. So thank you very much for joining. Let's go ahead and set the rating up to 3 stars where I want it. As a preview, just so you know, this is like, here's what the falls looks like when the water's moving. That's still kind of a long exposure. These are all kind of a little bit, that's better. That's, yeah, 1/25 of a second, so that's not bad. If I throw some clarity and dehaze on these, brighten up the shadows. Yeah, we're gonna have some fun with the rest of the photos from here. I'm gonna reset that. Other cool shots we've got, we're gonna be doing. We've got this real cute squirrel who decided to let me sit and let me take photos of him while he ate. So he's adorable. We're gonna have a lot of fun with a lot of shots from him. We got some gorgeous shots just going up the canal, or up the river. We've got, let's see, got some cool shots here where we sort of exploring I think this one's a better one, like the texture on some of these rocks down here. The rocks here have such an interesting texture. They're like this down in this area. They all have this nice, like, it's like ripples. It's these beautiful ripples in the stone. That I'm looking forward to enhancing as we do these photos. So we've got those. Let's see what else we've got. We got a couple other cool things. We've got, let's see, we got some shots of the falls from earlier in the day. So these are going to be fun to edit as we talk about before, during the day and then after, and then what I saw when I first got there versus what I saw at the end of the day, and then kind of in some ways my unintentional pièce de résistance. We got this kayaker who paddled up the falls and then went down. So got some awesome shots of this, some action shots of this guy coming down the falls and like hanging out at the top of the falls. Just some absolutely gorgeous shots of this guy. So yeah, there he is. Just awesome time with this guy taking on the falls. So going to Great Falls, you're going to get some awesome experiences and just get to experience a really cool place. But yeah, this is the shot we started with, and I'm really happy with it. Let me go ahead and make a quick duplicate and throw it into black and white. So just so I know where to go with it. But man, that looks so good. Oh my god. I'm absolutely in love with that. Where's the rock and trees? I want to crank the texture on that. I don't know if I want to crank the contrast. I'm sitting here playing. I said I wasn't going to do this, but I'm kind of something about that is amazing. And the color sliders in black and white, we're going to have a lot of fun with, because we can bring down the aquas. It gives us a little more texture. We can bring up the blues. Purples will give us a little more light on the stone. Man, I'm already in love. Okay, this is the one shot. This is what we got. But yeah, so we did no global adjusting on this in terms of light and color and stuff. It was all done with masks and the color sliders themselves. We got to enable the profile corrections for the camera. That's actually probably a good idea for this one, because I was shooting with a wide lens. I'm gonna leave the vignette where it is. I like that vignette, but clearing out that distortion is pretty nice. I'm gonna out of the post crop vignette. I'm gonna in vignette even a little bit more, just to get that darkening in those corners and let it really, if we needed any help focusing our eye to the center, now we can do it. So there we go. All right. Well, that's been our one shot. I'm gonna leave this up while I finish this out. But yeah, that's been our one shot. So thank you for joining me for that. Thank you for being part of this awesome little experiment we just did. In terms of just housekeeping updates, postcards still available. There's a decent chance this photo is going to end up, or some photo from this shoot is going to end up in the next printing of postcards. But yeah, postcards still available. Same classic designs with Natural Bridge, Antelope Canyon, Dream Lake, and Marjorie Glacier up in Alaska. So those are available. Still got the awesome QR code on the back, where you can scan the QR code when you receive a postcard and add it to the map, so we can see where they've all gone, which is a thing I love. Also, cool news. I'm now able to share the pages from UA Models magazine, where they published my Beyond That White Horizon series, which is a series of black and white photographs of various shorelines and just about our mysterious and beautiful connection to water and connection to the coast. So that is available both if you go to my website, there's which is twistedinnature.zenfoliosite.com, or if you go to my Instagram, which is @twistednature, you can see both of those there. And if you go to my website, which is if you go to erichackler.com/photography, you can get to my website, my photo portfolio. You can get to my Etsy if you want to buy prints of any of my photos. And if you go to Twisted in Nature on Instagram, you can find all the same stuff, and you can find more of the links to my publications. So with that all said, thank you very much for joining. Thank you for being part of this cool late night one shot. I was so hyped this is a photo I took yesterday, which, wow, that feels like days ago. But yeah, no, I took this photo yesterday. So this is one that was absolutely itching to get my hands on, and I was thinking I hadn't done a one shot this week, so this was like, yeah, this is what it's going to be. So, all right, with that all said, everyone, now I am actually going to come back to me. So with this all said, you guys are awesome. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for letting me share my artistic process with you. Yeah, we'll do it again next week. We're gonna do more photos from this shoot. We'll see if there's anything else to do. I've still got tons of Grand Canyon photos that I want to do. Yeah, there's a lot to cover, a lot of cool places to visit with you guys, and a lot of cool, beautiful stories to tell photographically. So, yeah, with that said, stay safe, be well, and we'll do this again in the coming days, coming weeks. So, keep making cool stuff, keep sharing your work, and yeah, we'll see you next time. Have a good night.